Protect your business from the fastest growing crime of the 21st century. Find out here. You're watching Technology Review. Welcome, folks, to another episode of Technology Review. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. For February 9th, 2018. Technology Review is a show that helps informs and educates the public on the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century, and that's cyber crimes and identity theft, folks. It's been all over the news, and we have a show here every Friday at 3 p.m. to give you information to protect yourself, your family, and your business. Did you know that every 2 seconds there is a cybercrime happening to someone, either a credit card stolen or some important information regarding your personal identifiable information? According to the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security, over 16 million new victims every year are reporting to law enforcement regarding some sort of cybercrime and cyber theft. You shouldn't have to be a victim. What we talk about in the show are ways that you can protect yourself and your family. There are little ways you can protect yourself, but there's also policies and procedures that lots of companies should maintain in an organization to protect themselves from these cyber thieves. It's all over the news. If you were to check your news this week, it's been another major cyber attack has happened to a large corporation. But folks, if large corporations are getting hit by cyber attacks, what about your small business? It could be affected too. Hi folks, my name is Mac Jackson Jr. My background is in cybersecurity compliance, law, programming, and business consulting. My programs and services help companies protect themselves from identity theft and fraud. My website is macjacksonjr.com. That's MacJacksonJr.com. We're here in WCOBM.TV to give information to you on cybercrime and cybersecurity. You also can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube as well, and Instagram. We also have postings on Instagram also on information cybersecurity. I also want to give a quick shout out to some of our fans and viewers that help making our show possible. I'd like to say hi to Lisa, Teresa, Monty, Bernie, Albert, Esther, Sarah, and Cynthia. Thanks a lot for being part of our show and sending us your emails and giving us your support here on identity theft and fraud. And if you out there would like information on identity theft and you have a question of mine, please feel free to send me information. You can send it to my email address at info@macjacksonjr.com. That's info@macjacksonjr.com. Your questions related to cybersecurity and identity theft and fraud. If you notice in the news this week, we've had a story that came out regarding the election of 2016, that Homeland Security has come out and stated that there has been over 20 states, that's right, 20 states elections that have been hacked by the Russians. That's right, folks, over 20 states. We've talked about this several years ago in the cybersecurity community of this possible hacking of our election. And it turns out now that their evidence is coming forth that our election was hacked into. Now, however, the information did not change the vote, but the information about the voter was accessed. In other words, PII, personal identifiable information. Now, this is very important, folks. This is your information regarding who you are, your age, where you live, your income level, all information about our privacy. That information was hacked. Right now, states are turning up their security on the elections for the midterms that will happen in this coming November, as well as future elections. But it's very, very important that you be aware of it as well, especially when you're looking at information that's on social media. When you look at social media data, you make sure that information that you're giving in your social media data isn't your personal identifiable information. We'll talk more about that. There's a story I'll talk more about that too coming up as well. But first, I also want to give a quick shout out and thanks to our awesome sponsors, man. We really appreciate you guys helping making this possible here on Technology Review. Our awesome sponsors include Canon USA, Martin Harris Construction Company here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Really appreciate them as well. We have Turi Consulting Group. We have, of course, MJ Computer Concepts as well. We have Nevada Bankers Association and many others. If you'd like to be a part of our sponsorship and support our efforts, what we're doing here in Technology Review, you can do that as well by sending an email to sponsors@macjacksonjr.com. That's sponsors@macjacksonjr.com. And you can reach our audience with your products and service in our live feed like we're doing now, our simulcast through Facebook. Those of you out there on Facebook and Facebook fans, appreciate you signing up with us here watching our show. And those of you that are watching us on WCOBM.TV as well around the world, appreciate that also. Thank you very much for your support here in Technology Review. And today's episode, we're going to talk about cyber crimes, what's going on with hacking that's happening around the world. Second segment, and a business spotlight, we talk about what businesses should do. If you have a small company, a small business, folks, you should be aware of what's going on. The key words here, folks, are 3 letters: cyber security awareness. Cyber security awareness, folks. That's very, very important for your company. Third segment, we'll talk about apps you should have on your smart device to protect you from cyber hacking and give you a little bit of mitigation just in case it happens. It's not if, it's a matter of when. When it does happen, you'll have some protections on your smart devices. And of course, in our fourth segment, we talk about EVs, electric vehicles, including my favorite, Tesla, from Tesla Motors. And if you're watching the great flight that happened, it was a great launch happened this week with SpaceX. We're going to talk about that a little bit too in our fourth segment. So we'll start with identity theft and fraud. Identity theft fraud, folks, is when someone wrongfully acquires another person's personal identifiable information without their consent. Now, when I mean personal identifiable information, the U.S. Department of Justice has defined what personal identifiable information is. If you go to my website, you'll find out more information about it, or I'll send you information on how to get a link on defining what this is. But basically, folks, it's any information that can uniquely identify you as an individual, your private information, like your social security number, your credit card number. But it also could be a combination of additional pieces of information, like if you take someone's name and match it with their address and with their phone number. Now you have a residence. Now that residence, you can then find information about who owns the property from county records. And then if you link it to Social Security Administration or DMV databases, you see, folks, you start linking data together, you can get a profile of an individual. And this linking of data is what cyber criminals look to do. They want to link data about you and your personal information. They then can take your profile that they've linked from all these databases that they've hacked into and sell your profile to other cyber criminals in the underground, in the darknet, that will in turn commit cybersecurity crimes, including insurance fraud. A big one that's going on right now is title insurance fraud, where the equity in your home can be drained out without you knowing about it, folks. So it's very, very important that you make sure that the information that you have about your home title is locked down. Contact your county assessor's office, your county recorder's office, and see if there's, and talk with them about it. They'll give you, each state has different laws and regulations about it. And if you have further questions about it, you can contact me or contact your attorney and find information about making sure your title is locked. Just got an email last week from a couple that had their title equity loan placed on their home, and they had no idea, no clue that it was happening. Records were fraudulently created, and of course, a loan was given to the cyber thieves without the homeowners knowing about it. So it's very important, folks, to have this information, and you have your personal data protected. Now, there's things you can do to do that. First, I recommend always run a credit report on yourself. Check it every quarter. If you see anything suspicious on your credit report, immediately contact the creditor. Contact the credit reporting agencies. You can put a freeze on your credit. That's right, folks. You put a credit freeze by contacting them individually yourself, where the credit reporting agencies would freeze your social security number, and no one can get credit in your name, not even you, unless you unfreeze it. So it's very important to do that too. That would kind of stop or block any attempts of someone to use your social security number to acquire credit without you knowing about it. But there's more, folks. There's more. And you'll find that in my new book that we have coming out called How to Protect Your Family from Identity Theft. Go to my website at macjacksonjr.com. That's macjacksonjr.com, and purchase our book. It's only $19.95. It's chock full of information and stories like the ones given you in the show, and ways to protect yourself and your family. Folks, got a lot for you today. Stay tuned. In our next segment, we're going to talk about businesses. If you have a company out there, folks, you need to listen to my next segment. I'm going to give you steps and things you should do to protect your company's data, because cyber hackers are trying to rob your company blind with your information, folks. And it's very, very important we have knowledge and access to it. Our best defense against a cybercrime is communication is knowledge. Folks, we'll be right back here with Technology Review. I'm your host, Mag Jackson, after a few words from our sponsors. Thank you, folks. See you in a minute.